in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem.
A massive alien is hovering above Jerusalem right now. Thousands have seen a strange triangle-shaped UFO. This object first appeared a few years ago, moving silently across the sky and catching many people's attention. There's no official explanation or radar evidence, so rumors and wild theories have been growing. These dangerous sightings reported all over the world have sparked a lot of debate. Are they secret military projects or something from another world? Let us dig into the real story behind what's happening above Jerusalem. Silent dangers in the sky. People have been talking about seeing a strange triangle-shaped UFO floating in the sky. This happened a few years ago and has since sparked much interest among those studying UFOs. They look closely at the details and what this sighting might mean, seeing it as an important piece in the ongoing effort to understand these unexplained aerial sightings. But this wasn't the only strange thing. A puzzling aspect of this incident was the lack of any official government response or supporting radar data, which only fueled more debate and speculation. The secretive nature of government investigations into UFOs added another layer of intrigue to the discussion. But this wasn't the worst part. Triangle-shaped crafts are reported all over the globe in UFO sightings. These crafts are usually described as large, silent, and mysterious, which often leads to theories about secret military projects or even visits from aliens. The people who saw the object were deeply affected. Some felt a mix of fascination and fear, with an unsettling feeling that stayed with them long after the sighting. Conversations about the UFO's nature were everywhere, with some thinking it was a secret military aircraft, and others believing it was something more extraordinary, like a sign of alien life. But the strangest part was yet to come. Critics of the alien theory pointed out that using such advanced, untested technology in a busy city didn't make sense. If it were a secret project, why show it so openly? This made some people think there were more ordinary explanations. Yet for those who saw it, the event changed how they saw the world and its possibilities. As time passed, the Jerusalem incident continued to spark both wonder and doubt. The lack of solid evidence or more witnesses beyond the initial group kept the debates alive. For many, this event highlighted the ongoing mystery of UFOs and what they mean for humanity. Whether it's a sign of human creativity or a hint of something otherworldly, the truth remains out of reach, leaving us with more questions than answers. But the most puzzling part is the pattern of these sightings. For decades, people have reported seeing similar features and behaviors, sparking debates about where these crafts come from and what their purpose is. Many sightings happen around big cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco Bay Area, which includes tech-rich Silicon Valley and the rugged Marin County cliffs. Some believe these might be secret military or experimental aircraft because they are often spotted near bases like Moffett Federal Airfield and Travis Air Force Base. In Los Angeles, a city teeming with millions of people, these sightings are frequent, making it a key location for UFO activity. People interested in UFOs and even skeptics go to places like Joshua Tree National Park, the Hollywood Sign, and Griffith Observatory to try to spot these mysterious crafts. With so many people in the city, there are always eyes on the sky, ready to report any unusual events. Further north in the Bay Area, sightings are just as common. Reports of triangular UFOs near tech hubs and military sites add to the confusion about whether these are alien crafts or human-made experimental ones. The secretive nature of military projects leaves many questions unanswered, making it hard to understand the true nature of these sightings. The interest in triangular UFOs in California keeps growing. Each new sighting adds to the ongoing discussion about their origins and purpose. Are they alien technology or advanced human creations? Nobody knows for sure, but the steady stream of reports ensures that the fascination with these mysterious visitors continues. The frequent sightings of triangular UFOs have caught the attention of both independent researchers and government agencies. These reports, often made by everyday people, point to the state's long history of military activities and aerospace innovations. Some experts think these UFOs might be advanced aircraft prototypes or part of secret military projects. Despite many sightings, the government has stayed silent, offering no official acknowledgement or information. This silence only makes UFO enthusiasts more curious. One particularly famous incident happened in 1997 when a massive triangle-shaped object was seen flying over California. This event remains one of the most talked about in the state's history, with thousands of eyewitnesses. Californians are always on the lookout, watching the night sky and hoping to find evidence of what they believe could be proof of advanced technology, secret military tests, or even visits from extraterrestrial beings. Even though the origins of these sightings are still debated, people worldwide continue to be fascinated by these aerial phenomena. This keeps California's reputation as a prime spot for observing triangular UFOs alive. November nights grew darker, and something strange was about to happen in the sky. Belgium's Night of Triangular Mysteries. One evening on November 9, 1989, police patrolling in the town of Eupen reported a huge aerial object hovering over a nearby field to their switchboard operator, Albert KZ. The object was so bright that it lit up the area like a stadium. As Christmas approached, KZ jokingly suggested it might be Santa Claus, but the officers insisted he see it for himself. Skeptical at first, KZ decided to check it out. When he saw the object, he realized it was no joke. Calls about the strange, brightly lit object kept coming in, and Officer Dieter Plumans and his partner also spotted it. KZ instructed them to follow it, starting a detailed pursuit that would add to the intrigue and ongoing investigations surrounding these mysterious aerial sightings. Late November, something strange happened near a retirement home. For a few minutes, an object hovered in the sky before stopping completely. People were fascinated by what they saw. This object had 3 orange and brown lights at each corner, forming a triangle. In the middle, a bright red light flashed on and off, catching more attention. But that wasn't the strangest part. A smaller drone-like object came out of the larger one, blinking in sync with the red light. People, including a man named Pluman and his friend, watched as this smaller object looked around the area before going back to the main triangle, which then quickly flew away. That night, it wasn't just a one-time thing. Police reported 13 separate sightings, and over 60 more were added by civilians. By early December, this story had caught international interest. Witnesses kept describing the same thing, a triangular craft with 3 orange lights and a central red one. As December went on, more reports came in. One of these was from Andre Amon, an experienced Army colonel. While driving to the train station with his wife, they saw 3 bright lights in a triangle with a pulsing red center. Andre stopped his car several times to get a better look, and each time the mysterious craft seemed to slow down with him. It eventually moved toward a nearby forest. Andre followed and saw it reappear from behind the trees. He noticed how silent it was around the craft, even though he could still hear other sounds like traffic and a train. The craft then sped away, leaving Aund amazed by its seemingly otherworldly capabilities. But that wasn't all. Public interest grew, and sightings became more frequent. Residents of Lea Namur saw a triangular craft hovering above their homes. In Gilo, someone described a bright object caught in a spruce tree, close enough to see symbols that looked like electronics on its side. During this time, the Belgian Society for the Study of Space Phenomena gained a lot of attention and became the largest UFO organization in the country. They led the investigation, regularly sharing updates with the public from witness interviews. This surge in sightings drew a lot of attention and increased the demand for the Society's work. Even though some people doubted the growing number of reports, thinking they might be exaggerating the phenomenon, the Society kept hiring more investigators to look into every reported encounter. The group carefully put together a detailed and well-documented series of reports about a UFO sighting. Some critics might say they were exaggerating the situation, but these records were very helpful as sightings kept happening in the skies over Belgium. By December 21st, the public was informed about how to report these sightings, making sure every observation was quickly sent to the authorities. When the police confirmed a sighting, the radar stations were notified right away, and F-16 fighters were put on standby, ready to take action. But this wasn't the most surprising part. The full extent of the response became clear on March 30th, 1990. At a NATO press conference in July, it was revealed that fighter jets had been deployed. Major General Wilfred de Brouwer played recordings from the F-16S, which had encountered a triangular craft. This craft showed amazing abilities, accelerating from 100 to 500 knots in just a few seconds, and eventually disappearing at an incredible speed. The incident started at 11 p.m. on March 30th, when Mr. Rankin, a senior sergeant, called the Control Reporting Center from his home, saying he saw 3 strange lights moving towards him. He was sure these lights were on the bottom of a triangular object and were not any known celestial bodies. Rankin said the lights changed colors, including red, green, and yellow. A patrol unit was sent to Rankin's house by 11:10 p.m. to check his claims. Soon after they arrived, Rankin pointed out that 3 more lights had joined the original 3, forming another triangle in the sky. Meanwhile, the Control Reporting Center detected an unidentified object on their radar. By 11:30 p.m., the patrol team reached Rankin's property and confirmed the sighting of the unusual lights. Reports of strange lights led to a night full of surprising encounters. The night the skies turned electric. But there was more. Captain Pinson, who was part of the patrol team, noted in his report that while red was the main color, the lights often changed to blue, white, yellow, and green without any clear pattern. As this was happening, the Control Reporting Center kept an eye on the radar anomaly, while Rankin and the patrol unit continued their observation. Just before midnight, another radar confirmation came from the Traffic Control Center. At 11:56 p.m., the military was told to scramble fighters for an intercept mission. Over the first 7 minutes of March 31st, the F-16S tried 9 times to intercept the unidentified flying object. Each time they encountered the craft's incredible speed and elusive maneuvers. These interactions not only showed the advanced capabilities of the unknown entity, but also increased the interest in investigating these extraordinary aerial phenomena further. 3 times, pilots managed to lock their radars onto mysterious flying objects that suddenly disappeared at incredible speeds. On the ground, people saw this strange event, noticing triangular lights in the sky. Sometimes they could even spot the F-16 jets circling, trying and failing to get close to these unidentified flying objects. They watched as a larger, brighter triangle shot upwards, hiding some lights but leaving the brightest ones visible. A smaller group of lights disappeared just as the jets got close. For about 40 minutes, the pilots tried to catch up, but the mysterious aircraft dodged every attempt and vanished from radar around 1 a.m. Just 5 minutes later, a new sighting was reported in another part of the city. Observers like Pinson, who watched from below, gave crucial details. They noticed the brightest light moved in quick, jerky motions. This sparked debates, especially about the strange distortion around the lights in photographs taken. But that wasn't the worst part. There were no more sightings that night, and the object seemed to have completely vanished by 1:30 a.m. One of the pilots, Yves Mielbergs, had problems with his equipment. His magnetic tapes and those of other F-16Ss malfunctioned, hinting at possible electromagnetic interference. Years later, Mielberg still believed they weren't alone that night, pointing to evidence from ground witnesses, radar data from the control tower, and his own recordings. In late March, there was an important event involving a jet chase that many people have missed. This incident is a key part of a series of strange occurrences, suggesting it needs more attention. Although the event got some notice, many people believe the Petit Rachan photo linked to it is fake. This belief was strengthened when a man named Patrick M. said he made the photo. Later, Patrick M. was identified as Patrick Morel, and he explained to the media how he created the image, even showing his setup photos to prove it. Before Patrick Morel admitted to faking the photo, there were already reasons to doubt it. For one, it took 4 months for the photo to be released to the public. Which made people suspicious. They probably would have done it sooner if someone wanted to fool the public. Also, critics say the photo's background looks fake, suggesting it was staged. This staged admission might have been a way to take attention away from the real event, making it easier to ignore future similar sightings. But this wasn't the worst part. There was also a single radar ping detected during the event with the triangle of lights, adding another layer of mystery. This detail suggests the lights might have been part of one solid object, which skeptics often overlook. This alone makes it worth looking into more. Plus, there has been a recent increase in sightings across Belgium, leading to many theories. While many of these can be explained by ordinary things, the strange nature of these events keeps them interesting, reminding us to stay open-minded about what might really be happening. At 11:27 p.m., some people argued that what folks saw in the skies was just misidentified airplanes or natural objects, like stars or planets. They thought that this was just a case of mass confusion or panic. Some critics, including a UFO investigation team, believe that the reports during these sightings were exaggerated. Mark Hallett, for example, thinks that the Belgian UFO wave was just a big mix-up made worse by false information being spread around. Philip Clare agreed with this idea. He said that the Belgian media played a big part in convincing people that UFOs might be nearby, which influenced how they saw the events. Moving on to the Canadian UFO sighting involving multiple pilots, pilots are usually seen as very reliable witnesses because false reports could damage their careers. But in the early hours of January 2024, not just one, but several pilots reported seeing something unusual in the skies over Canada. As March ended, mysterious movements in the sky would amaze everyone. Lights in the sky. And here's the interesting part. The audio recordings of these pilots talking to the control tower were released, so everyone could hear their confused and urgent conversations. Even though there were many explanations offered, most of the people who saw the event are sure that what they saw was neither a normal aircraft nor a natural phenomenon. The Transport Canada database has detailed reports showing that around 4:20 a.m. on January 19, 2024, many pilots flying over the Canadian prairies reported seeing strange lights. This was even caught on video and shared with the public. For example, the pilot of Morningstar 7060 asked if there was any military activity in the airspace north of Winnipeg. Air traffic control replied that there was no known military presence in that area. The pilot then described seeing unusual lights in the sky, adding to the ongoing mystery and debate about these strange sightings. High above at around 50,000 feet, some very bright lights caught the attention of airline pilots. There were 3 distinct lights, first seen by a pilot who quickly told the air traffic controller about it. He explained how the lights shone brightly, formed a triangle, then disappeared, only to show up again moments later. The air traffic controller, puzzled by this, asked for more details to understand better. The recorded conversation between the pilot and the controller showed the controller's growing confusion and concern over these strange lights. As the morning went on, the situation got more serious. Air traffic control began asking other aircraft nearby if they had seen anything similar. But this wasn't the worst part. Just over 10 minutes after the first sighting, Air Canada Flight 786 reported seeing the same thing, an aircraft with strange flashing lights. Like the first report, these lights also formed triangles, disappeared, and came back. This second sighting made the controller even more sure that something unusual was happening in the skies. As more planes reported seeing the lights, the story took another twist. A crew member on Air Canada Flight 328 wondered if the lights might be a reflection of the sun or something else. Curious about this idea, the crew watched the mysterious lights for nearly an hour, trying to figure out where they came from. But that wasn't the end of it. Each new report added more drama to the morning. Every pilot's account brought another piece to the puzzle, but no clear explanation emerged. The air traffic controllers, usually confident and in control, found themselves dealing with the unknown. They discussed and documented each new sighting as pilots on different flights saw these dazzling triangular lights in the sky. With each new report, the air traffic control team tried hard to put the clues together, all the while wondering what was really out there. As they flew east, the lights seemed to rise. The pilot wondered if they were just reflections of the sun, but quickly dismissed the idea. Despite the uncertainty, the view from the cockpit of Air Canada 786 was amazing and strange. The crews of Air Canada 786 and Air Canada 328 talked through the control tower and had different opinions. The pilot of Air Canada 328 didn't support any theories, noting the lights moved sideways, drifted apart, and sometimes formed triangles. The control tower's recording captured the ongoing observation of these strange lights. Flare 600 confirmed they still saw the lights, now about 6, staying high and moving unpredictably. This made the Air Canada 786 crew even more curious. One of the pilots asked the control tower about the formal procedure for logging such unusual sightings. The response was routine. The shift manager would take the reports and decide on the next steps, which might include detailed accounts of the incident. But that wasn't the most intriguing part. The pilot of Air Canada 786 asked if these reports would classify the sightings as UFOs. The control tower said it was up to the shift manager, who would decide based on the pilot's detailed accounts. This shows the mix of wonder and protocol in dealing with unexpected aerial phenomena, leaving those who see them caught between professional caution and the human desire to understand the unknown. Before moving forward, pilots need to report any strange sightings they encounter. This shows how easy it is to overlook UFO sightings, blending them into the vast knowledge of modern aviation. On a chilly January morning, unusual lights were spotted by at least 4 different planes between 4:20 and 6 a.m. These lights were higher than the planes, as confirmed by all the pilots who saw them. One pilot guessed they were about 100,000 feet up. The lights seemed to be around 80 to 90 meters away and were moving east, based on the plane's positions. That same night, 2 other crew members admitted that while they didn't see anything unusual then, they had noticed the same lights on and off over the past 18 months. The pilot said the lights moved in a way that matched their past experiences, sometimes changing direction suddenly. Early morning flights saw strange things that couldn't be easily explained. From Calgary to Alabama, these regular sightings over a long time suggest something is happening in the skies that we don't fully understand yet. The pilot's detailed reports don't just record these encounters. They help us see a pattern that goes against what we usually know about aircraft in flight. Every sighting, carefully noted and shared among pilots, adds to the idea of something strange and unexplained going on. But this wasn't the worst part. Each new account adds weight to a mysterious story that science hasn't figured out yet, calling for more attention from aviation and science experts worldwide. The early morning hours before dawn, a Morningstar Air Express freight flight was flying from Calgary to Toronto. Something unusual happened in the skies. The pilot, who had 15 years of experience flying at night, saw objects he couldn't explain. He was certain they were not satellites. The air was calm and there were no reports of military exercises that could account for these strange sightings. The air traffic controller on duty was also confused, confirming that there were no scheduled military activities nearby. As the event continued, there was a shift change in the control tower. The new operator, just starting her shift, began documenting what was happening. She asked the pilots detailed questions about what they saw. Her first question was simple. She wanted a description of the objects, including their number, size, and shape. The pilots' answers were interesting but unclear. The lights changed in number and shape, sometimes appearing as 3, and other times more, forming triangles, diamonds, and squares, mostly moving east. But this wasn't the strangest part. Another pilot reported seeing similar lights in the past, but only in the western sky. This difference in direction made the crew and control staff even more curious. It suggested that these phenomena couldn't be easily explained. Everyone involved was left in a state of wonder and confusion about what these mysterious lights in the sky could be. In the dark sky above, small bursts of light moved around at great heights, guessed by one pilot to be between 70,000 and 100,000 feet from the ground. The pilot said the lights moved unpredictably, like they were following some invisible guide. Sometimes these lights formed a triangle, darting up and down, left and right, without any clear pattern. They flew so fast and randomly that it was impossible to know where they go next. But that wasn't the only strange sighting. Nearly 2.5 hours later, another sighting happened north of Birmingham, Alabama. Early in the morning, the sky showed a similar display. This event was reported through a radio channel run by Memphis Air Traffic Control. During the broadcast, a pilot's voice cut in, asking if anyone else nearby had seen the bright, strange lights to the west of their plane. At first, these lights appeared close together and very bright, grabbing the attention of those on the flight deck. The early hours of January 19, 2024. pilots flying over North America noticed some strange lights in the sky. These lights were very different from what they usually see, leading to lots of talk among aviation experts. One pilot, talking to air traffic control, said these couldn't be Starlink satellites because they don't flash. This made the mystery even bigger, especially since similar lights were seen over Canada just a few hours before. But this wasn't the most puzzling part. Even though it wasn't clear if the lights were related, it seemed very likely. Experienced pilots gave first-hand accounts of these strange lights. This wasn't a one-time thing either. Other pilots reported seeing similar lights on different nights, hinting that this might have been happening for a while. Canada, like many places in North America, has a long history of unexplained things in the sky. So it's not surprising that pilots often see these strange lights. However, many of these events probably aren't reported. Pilots might keep quiet about their experiences, afraid of being laughed at or not taken seriously. But here's the big challenge. While many sightings are reported, the real number is likely much higher. Organizations and government agencies around the world try to keep track of these events. Some websites dedicated to tracking these strange sightings get thousands of reports every year from people who say they've seen something unexplainable in the sky. These ongoing reports keep adding to the growing list of unusual sightings, but the true size and nature of what's being seen is still a big mystery. Are pilots hiding the truth about what's in our skies? Share your thoughts in the comments, like, and subscribe for more.